My favorite genre? I guess it's roguelite. Here's the very first sentence from an official Epic Games post this week. The cost of running Fortnite has gone up a lot, and we're raising prices to help pay the bills. That caught me off guard. It's so curt. You know, maybe it should be refreshing that they're speaking so honestly, but emotionally, I just have a negative reaction to Epic Games saying such a thing. And you'll see that reflected in the way a lot of the headlines are written about the story. I think we're all wondering, why would they even say it like that? Here's the post from the last time they did this, in 2023. And look, I'm not sure what's going on with this chart anymore, but the text is more, traditionally obfuscated. Nobody would read it. It's too boring. And here's the justification. These adjustments are based on economic factors such as inflation and currency fluctuations. Yes, that's normal and also too many words. Good day to you. Just look at the change in the titles. We've gone from upcoming Fortnite pricing alignment in Czech Republic, Denmark, Eurozone countries, Hungary, Japan, Norway, Poland, Romania, Sweden, Turkey, and the United States in October 2023 to this week's Fortnite V-Bucks price increase. You see what I'm saying? They're being curt. They're being frankly curt. Let's read this one more time. The cost of running Fortnite has gone up a lot, and we're raising prices to help pay the bills. It's like they're trying to be honest, but there's also not enough details. It's like me saying it hurts to wake up and I'm getting a tattoo. Like there's some sort of natural logic there, but there's definitely some information being withheld. And first I'd like to examine how they're raising prices, which, as you can plainly see here, is actually just decreasing the value of V-Bucks. And maybe I should explain V-Bucks real quick. It's Fortnite's funny money. The age-old trick of when you exchange your real-life money for pretend currency just to get you to spend more money than you intended on spending originally. And I think an interesting aspect about what's happening here is that, of course, Fortnite used to be in absolute total control over how much a V-Buck is worth. They knew its value and they controlled its value, right? I would argue that was true until a specific change they made this year. Some background first. Any of you watching this, could make your own Fortnite island that anybody in the world could drop in and play around in. It's called Unreal Editor for Fortnite. And here's the kicker. You could be compensated real life money based on how long you can keep people playing on your island. And you might ask, how could they possibly calculate that? So there's this thing called the engagement pool. And they say, all right, so we're splitting up 40% of our revenue for the engagement pool, which includes us. It includes Epic. So, like Battle Royale, that counts. But come on in. There's still plenty of room in this pool for you and your creations. Lucrative room. And if earlier when you heard about Fortnite having to pay their bills and you wondered, what bills? They do actually go into that in this documentation. They got bullet points for all their expenditures here. And it's funny to me, the only reason this list is here in a document for creators is basically a justification. Hey, we're not shortchanging you with that 40%. Here's where the 60% goes. We got a business to run. This last one's funny, affiliate support a creator payments. That's the free money YouTubers make when they say, and if you liked this video, use creator code SPLITBUTT. That's with 3 T's. That too is the cost of running Fortnite. Anyway, that aforementioned thing that changed this year is that in addition to making money from trapping players on your island for as long as possible, creators may now implement in-island transactions, meaning that unlike buying a dance in the store that you can use across any of Fortnite's modes and islands, here now you can have people buy a thing in an island like Fruits versus Brain Rots, or Stranger Things Escape 2 Roguelike, or Oil Wars FFA, that don't do anything outside of those particular games. And that's something Roblox has been making ridiculous money on for years, and Fortnite, up until this year, has not seemed to want to touch. And again, it's really fun to see how they explain this stuff to their potential creators. The example they use is a farming game. Farming game, that makes sense because it's an easy way to communicate consumable purchases. Entirely coincidentally, last year's biggest Roblox game was a farming game. Just a quick aside. It is crazy that there was a game within Roblox that itself had 22 million concurrent users and now is just down here at the bottom row. I gotta be honest with you, I think a lot of Roblox is just insanely stupid. And so what I find funny about this being a new feature for Fortnite is that for players, there is zero incentive to look forward to this implementation. They are not receiving anything, and in fact, they are only having things withheld from them. Here's the 3 kind of in-island purchases creators can set up. So you got durable, items that can never expire, like an upgraded shovel. Consumable, items that will deplete, like seed packets. And paid area, like a farmer's market where a player can take the produce they grow and sell it. If that puts a bad taste in your mouth, close it now, because there's actually a 4th category. Paid random items. And yeah, that is what it sounds like. And to me, it seems maybe irresponsible to just trust online creators over the age of 18 to be responsible with tools such as these, but Epic is cool with it. And no, you're not going to see the word gamble once on this page. That's not what we're talking about here, baby. Language is important, okay? Don't say buy one, get one for free. Do say if you buy one, you'll get one for free. Now you're legally covered. So this unfortunately led me to an official UEFN build-along show. Basically a live tutorial to teach creators how to implement in-island transactions. And it's an eerie thing to watch because no one's ever talking about why. What is the gameplay benefit of what they're doing here? How do they make what they're doing remotely rewarding? And I want to make it clear that I recognize we're just watching people doing their jobs. And when your job title is creator evangelist, we can probably already presume Epic is going to ask you to do some ethically dubious tasks. So I just want to show one clip. And again, no ire towards these individuals, just the business. But here is one good idea from one of the creator evangelists.
I also like the idea of buying a limited time rake that has 10 actions that lets you rake up 10 new plots of land.
Yeah.
Or something like that. There's a lot of other stuff that you could build here. So that would be a consumable rake that would let you put 10 new plots of plantable land down.
So I have found that when I make videos, for every point that I try to make, there's at least one corresponding comment that says, "You're wrong, bad take." And that's okay, that's good, that's healthy. It's good for there to be some disagreement in the comments, right? But that rake, buying a rake that has 10 uses and then goes away is bad. It's a bad idea. And I feel like maybe for the first time ever, we're all on the same page here. I feel like everyone watching this video said, oh yeah, that rake is a bad idea. Anyway, bonus. It's within the in-island transaction documentation that we learn how Epic calculates the value of a V-Buck in US dollars. So first they take the amount of money people spend on V-Bucks in a given month. Then you gotta subtract the store fees, which is 30% for PlayStation and Nintendo, and 12% Epic paying itself. And then you just divide that by the number of V-Bucks spent in a given month. And you say, okay, but what is my cut as a creator asking people to make these in-game transactions? So the deal is creators will receive 50% of all V-Bucks spent. And then they're like, okay, realistically though, that'll be 37% after the platforms get their cut. Meaning if somebody spends $1 in your game, you get 37 cents. Not bad, right? But get this, there's a promotion for the first year. Right now, you can get 100% of V-Bucks revenue, which again, realistically is about 74% of in-game sales. Yeah, it looks to me like Fortnite's got a new bill to pay. All 2026 revenue from in-island pumpkin seeds and rakes. But wait, hold on. Was there a little bit more to that image? Yeah, zoom out a little bit. Oh. Huh. So Fortnite is very clearly seeking a Roblox economy, which is something I didn't think they would do. I didn't think they would have to. I found a quote that explains it better than I could. So if you look at how Roblox monetization worked, when you're spending money in an experience, you're mostly buying items that only work there. You go play another mode or into another Roblox experience and it doesn't work. That's something we are worried about as a concept. If that becomes the way gaming works, there's going to be a lot of poor deals offered to customers. So that's a quote from Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, just from an interview for The Game Business from June of last year. That's a quick little turnaround for them. What changed? They already told you. The cost of running Fortnite went up a lot. No further questions. And that's Delayed Input. I'll be back next week. Until then, thanks for watching. So in all fairness and complete transparency, I feel like I should take this moment to admit that I actually have been playing a game with a rake with limited uses. Only in this game, the rake is your own mutated hands. And instead of buying a new rake, you just eat some food. I'm talking, of course, about Pokemon Pokopia, which just celebrated that they sold 2.2 million copies in only 4 days. You know, it's funny, I saw this press release and I thought, that's the box art? And yeah, it is. Look at this key art even. And I think that's clever. The game doesn't look like that, but this builds an understanding. One would think, oh, so it's like Stardew Valley. And what's funny is that this game, this 2.2 million seller, is willing to say, yup, that's all. Stardew Valley. It's Animal Crossing. And nothing more. Wink. It's just there's a lot of things they could have shown in that reveal trailer, but I think uncovering where this game goes is actually a big part of what makes it fun, and it's nice to see marketing actually recognize that for once. And also, what I have to assume is another reason the box art is so zoomed out is that you play as a gooby freakazoid. And look, plenty of games have options where you can make a created character that's comically misproportioned if you just push the sliders too far in any direction. But in this case, you must play as a freakazoid goober. There is no cute option. And I think that's a nice change of pace for this kind of game. Pokopia is probably the biggest hit starring a bona fide true freak character since Buzz.